When they asked me to do a dry bar special, I said, I'll do it, but you better get some blue plants behind me. I said, that's my rider, okay? I'll come, but you better get some blue plants. We did it, you know? Some poor kid just had to spray paint plants for like 6 hours for this, but they could have had regular plants, and they were just like, Ronnie, get out back and spray paint those plants. I ran a marathon one time. I used to be in better shape. I ran a marathon one time. 26.2. That's too far to run. As a man, when you run a marathon, you have to put Band-Aids or Vaseline, I'm not making this up, on your nipples because your shirt will chafe you so badly at that distance, right? And in hindsight, that probably should be one of life's easiest decision-making tools. You know, just like, hey man, this thing I'm about to do, is there any chance that it might make blood spurt out of my nipples? Oh, there is. Oh, good thing I asked. I'm not going to do it. That was... Wait, what was that? Also, I might number 2 my pants? I just said I'm not doing it. I said it. Wait, say that again. Oh, it costs $70? I pay them. Well, that's too good to pass up. I'll take 2. The marathon got its name because a man in ancient Greece, he ran 26.2 miles from the Battle of Marathon to Athens to deliver the news of the battle. And he ran the 26.2 miles, he delivered the news of the battle, and then he immediately dropped dead. That's true, I'm not making that up. And we honor this man by continuing to run the exact distance which killed him. That's rude, down to the point, too. That is rude. The people should have been like, that guy is a hero. It's illegal to run that far ever again. We are going to have a memorial 5K fun run. There's going to be plenty of water stops. Nobody's going to have to put anything on their nipples. You get to about the 19-mile mark in the marathon, and the people lined up on the side, they all start yelling the same thing. They all start going, "You're almost there! Hey, you're almost there!" 7 miles. I'm 7 miles, so what? Yeah, that's almost there. If you're driving. I'm running, one of my toes just died. My left nipple Band-Aid fell off, took a piece of my left nipple with it. I'm not almost there. One guy yelled, "You're almost there!" I looked over, he had a bite of chocolate croissant in his mouth. I like records, I like to know records. The oldest cat there ever was, her name was Cream Puff. She lived in Texas. She was 38 years old. That's too old. If you got a 38-year-old cat, you might not have a cat, you might have a man who wronged a wizard. You gotta get the curse lifted off that cat. That's not Cream Puff, that's Gary. And this is true. The guy who owns Cream Puff also owns the second oldest cat in the history of the world. He owns the 2 oldest cats there's ever been, and they are not related, so it's not genetic. And all the comments I was reading on this article were just like, dang, this guy really knows how to take care of cats. And none of the comments were, dang, this guy really lies about the age of cats. This guy's a cat-aged liar. Check the papers on Cream Puff. something was off with my grandfather growing up. He would salute cats. Like whenever a cat entered a room, my grandfather would stand up and do a full military salute at the cat and then look around angrily at whoever wasn't saluting the cat. And I asked my mom, I go, how come Grandpa salutes cats? And she looked at me like that was a ridiculous question and said, because he was in the Navy. I feel like you answered the wrong half of that question. It wasn't the salute portion of the equation I was concerned about. And he was saluting them, right? So not only did my grandfather think he was in the Navy with cats, he thought they outranked him. Just like, look, Grandpa, I know he's an admiral, but if Mr. Whiskers doesn't stop scratching that chair, I'm gonna have to squirt him with water. I don't care how long he served. I love traveling. I get to travel a lot for this job. I like to fly. A lot of people hate to fly. I love to fly. I like to fly into a tiny little airport. That's my favorite. I like to go into I flew into Cape Girardeau, Missouri to tell jokes one time. And this is how small the airport in Cape Girardeau, Missouri is. The guy sitting next to me on the plane, we get off the plane, we walk across the tarmac, we walk into the airport, we walk out of the airport, and then he just walked away into the woods. No bag, nothing, just field of dreams, right into the woods. If you can make it from seat 2B to the woods in 45 seconds, that is a tiny little it's just one brick building. That's what they have in Cape Girardeau. And security is crazy at like LAX and O'Hare. I don't think the TSA knows about Cape Girardeau. It's just like, how did the terrorists get on the plane? Oh, we think he walked around the building is what happened. Had he come in the front door, we almost definitely would have got him. But he went about 12 feet to the left. Now I much see how that's our responsibility. Probably came from the woods is what it was. I was in O'Hare, and I was waiting for a plane, and I was looking out the window. I was waiting for my plane. And I saw these young airline employees, fresh, crisp, brand new uniforms on, and they're taking a selfie in front of the airplane I'm about to get on, you know? And I go, oh, that's good for them, you know, that's nice. Big smiles on their face. And then 20 minutes later, I board the plane, look to my left, they were the pilots. Now, I think only that guy is doing the math on this. Nobody's taking a selfie in front of their 650th flight, okay? I had day one pilots. What were they captioning that Instagram photo like? Here goes nothing, fingers crossed. I don't want anyone that's excited that they get to fly my plane. You know what I mean? Like, I want to look to my left and see a grizzled old man with a disheveled uniform, just angry to make the announcements, you know, just like, we'll be cruising at an altitude of, you know what, it's none of your business. I brought a troop transport down under enemy fire in Da Nang. I'm pretty sure I can get us to Milwaukee. Thank you. I got into a passive-aggressive showdown recently. I don't know if you've ever been in one of these. I was in my hotel a couple weeks ago. I get in the elevator. I press 5 lights up, because I know how to do that sort of thing, you know? And this businessman gets on the elevator, and he looks at the numbers, and then he looks at me, and then he pressed 5. Like I did it wrong. So I looked him dead in the eyes, and I pressed 4. And we got to 4, and I did nothing. Okay? I'm a comic. I got nowhere to be. I'll hit call fire department, man. I don't care. Nobody double presses me.